Wie doet dit? Er zit ook zo'n ding.
Uitgemolken.
Okay. Kunnen wij?
Ja.
Wie daar rondkijken?
Ja, toen kan het hele grote.
Dan moeten we even los.
Blijft daar staan?
Ja, ik ga gewoon hier staan, denk ik. Dus kunnen we hem zo. Lijkt wel hier zitten. Als we moeten maar.
Hij is een opdracht gedaan. Dat hoef je niet.
Yeah, so we can see our own.
Yeah.
I think it would be helpful if I knew what I was speaking to.
Exactly. Oh. No new batteries. Middag.
Hallo.
Wij voorstellen om. Nou, welkom.
Kevin Cummings.
Yeah, man, well, that's
Nice to meet you.
this morning on the conference call.
Ah, you were on the call? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Ja.
Kevin Cummings.
Edward Sloot, Dutch Daily Newspaper.
Nice to meet you.
Welkom.
Zal ik plek kiezen?
Ja hoor, het is free seating. Zo, we starten denk ik hè. So, I'd like to start. Welcome everyone to the press conference of joint combination GKN Fokker. So today we had exciting news in the press around the announcement of the combination, and I think we're going to elaborate a little bit on that. So, but let me introduce you first to Kevin Cummings, CEO of GKN Aerospace.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. This is obviously an exciting day for GKN Aerospace, and as we would hope, just as exciting for all of the new employees from Fokker as well. We are looking forward, to coming together, and we think that the future is incredible. And I guess I should probably step back and say I am the CEO of GKN Aerospace. So, with that, Hans, I think we'll turn it back over to you.
Yeah. So I will start this short presentation, and then afterwards I will hand over to Kevin. So I think you all have read in the press, but also in the press release, that it's about a strong combination between Fokker and GKN. We are getting into a number 2 leading first-tier position in the world, leading aerospace company. Based basically on specialized positions. I think around Fokker we have always been working on multi-technologies, and I will come to that. But I think together with GKN we are a multi-technology company, a strong company, but also covering the 3 continents. And I think that's was one of the ambitions always of Fokker. And I think all of you who have been following Fokker, we are positioned very well. We are well positioned in the Netherlands. Good technologies, all kind of specialties there, like lightweight structures, but also the specialties around wiring and the landing gear business. And together with GKN, we reinforce. But basically, it's a big step for Fokker in terms of volume, because we are only the 800 million company, and Today, GKN in total is more than 10 billion euro, and together we will be a 4 billion euro company in the world, and that will put us in a leading position in the aerospace world and also towards our customers, because I think that's the key message. So there's a strong demand from customers to basically follow them all over the world. And I think that's the main message for also for the stakeholders of Fokker. So we have to follow basically our customers there. So some newcomers here. So welcome. Yeah. So I will dig into the big advantages for Fokker then. So I elaborated already a little bit on the positions of GKN and Fokker. So we are a specialist, GKN is a specialist. If you look at the different value drivers behind the company, then they are basically similar. So if you look at the strategic ambition of both companies, they're also similar. And the good news is that if you add the two together, you have a big and strong company, a global leader focusing on technologies. We always have been focusing on let's say, this business model, so focusing on commercial aircraft, but also focusing on business jets. So we are seen as a specialist also, especially a tail specialist for the business jet segment, for Cessna, for also Gulfstream, Dassault, but also focusing on the defense platforms, especially in the Netherlands. I think you all know that we have a very strong position in the Netherlands for F-35. And that will be reinforced because also GKN is quite strong in these different programs. So if you look at the green dots, basically, that shows basically where we have a strong story together. And that's not only at the customer base itself, but it's also at technologies. It's about program management. And I think the weaker spot of Fokker in the current situation is that we have not been able to cover all the continents yet. And yes, we have facilities all over the world, but I think the big step for Fokker in the combination with GKN is that we are now really covering the global footprint, especially in Northern America. GKN is extremely strong. So we can benefit from that. On the other hand, GKN will benefit from our activities in China with our Fokker Elmo activities. The combination really benefits to all our stakeholders, we think. So we had discussions with our customers. We did it together. So we had to inform, obviously, our customers, and they were really supportive in this deal because they also see that a big and strong combination is good for them. Many customers are looking after multi-technology. So in the past, they bought a lot of single pieces from let's say, suppliers, and they're not now much more focusing on bigger companies, multi-technologies, and also suppliers who are covering the footprint, basically, the 3 continents. And I think with that combination, we do that. But also for employees, we just had the so-called town hall session for 5,000 Fokker employees. First reaction is that they're very enthusiastic about this deal, because also for Fokker employees, this gives all kind of opportunities, not only in the Netherlands, but also on other continents, not only for blue-collar people, but also for specialists, for engineers, and also for top management, obviously. We also had discussions with the government, obviously, to pre-announce this deal. And for us, it's extremely important that we keep our ecosystem in the Netherlands. I think we are extremely proud as Fokker that we have been able to develop new technologies with technical universities, but also with institutes and also with the support of the government. And I think that's one of the important things also in this whole takeover, that we keep on doing that. So that ecosystem in the Netherlands remains very important and will be supported also by GKN. Now, what does it mean in terms of structure? So what will happen with today's Fokker division? Fokker will be a division in the GKN family. We will keep our name, and obviously that will be connected to the GKN name. but the Fokker name is extremely strong, and we will remain using that one. Headquarters will remain in the Netherlands, and as I just mentioned, the connect with, especially with the government, but also with the defense-related stakeholders in the Netherlands remains important. I think that's also one of the reasons that we were attractive for GKN, because we have a powerful position here in the Netherlands. So that's basically all I like to say, and now I'd like to hand over to Mr. Kevin Cummings.
Thank you, Hans. Are you going to...
Shall we switch? Is that better?
No,
or
no,
shall,
you can...
shall we do some teamwork?
We can do some teamwork here. We'll
Okay.
start today. What I thought I would do is just go through a couple of different items and keep it fairly brief. First of all, who is GKN? And second of all, why is GKN so excited about the fact that we were able to acquire Fokker? What's the strategy behind that? GKN is a global engineering company. We've been in existence now for over 250 years. We're a FTSE 100 company with headquarters in the UK. However, with over 50,000 employees worldwide, actually there are more employees outside of the UK than there are inside of the UK at this point in GKN, within GKN. GKN services 3 different markets across the world. Aerospace, where we do primarily aerostructures. Second of all, we're a driveline company, so we're in the automotive business, and we also do powder metallurgy within the automotive business primarily. And then we also do components for, I would say, off-highway or industrial machinery as well. Those are the 3 business segments by which GKN services the marketplace. We're a large company, right now £7 billion in the UK, of which aerospace is today, without Fokker, 30%. With Fokker will be just under 40% of the entire portfolio. As you can say, like I said, we can move on here. That's sort of who GKN is, a global engineering company. And now, why is GKN so interested in Fokker? And I will say this as we come together. This was an acquisition that began out of mutual interest between the 2 companies. We began our dialogues very friendly, as Fokker was looking for what was their future going to look like, and GKN. We're looking at Fokker and the technical capabilities and the market position that Fokker had. We thought it would also be potentially very synergistic with us. So we began this dialogue about a year ago, today, roughly, thereabouts, and has culminated with the acquisition that I think we're both very excited about as far as what it can mean for our future. GKN, before we began with Fokker, we were the global number 3 in aerostructures, and I'd say number 3 by sales. We were the global number 2 in the position of engine systems structures as well, and we were the global number 1 in a suite of niche technologies that we have, specifically around transparencies, where we do aircraft windows as well as fighter jet canopies. We also are in the ice protection systems, where our specialty is in the electrical products or electrification of ice protection systems on the leading edge of the wings. So what does it mean when we looked at Fokker and said, well, what can we become? And this is what we become together. What we become is global number 2. We move from 3 to number 2 in aerostructures worldwide. For the aircraft structures, obviously we remain number 2 in engine structures. We remain number 1 in our niche technologies, plus we gain some additional niche technologies. We pick up the number 8 position in landing gear, which we're excited about as far as it's not exactly in the market space where we want to be, but they have great technology. And we believe, coming together with GKN, we have the opportunity to hopefully move that into a higher position. Also, in the electrical wire and interconnection systems, this is a new technology for GKN. We enter as number 3, which is pretty exciting for us. We believe that strategically this fits right with where we want to go to diversify and to expand our capabilities and technology, as we believe, and I think the market is proving out, aircraft are going more and more electrified in their systems, much more complex, and we believe that Fokker has an excellent position in the market space as far as being able to design and integrate systems, do systems integration in the wiring system, and therefore that differentiates them from most of the other competitors. And then finally is in the global services. We have an aftermarket service, but not this particular, not the aircraft components. This is legacy Fokker, switching over to others. This is a new area for us, of which we believe also fits into our overall portfolio of what we'd like to have as far as aftermarket. About the percent of aftermarket, Fokker has a great global name, and we think that we combined can do something with that as well to help in that particular market segment. The second component of the strategy that is very, very attractive to us is we look at our global landscape. Today, to be a strong, powerful Tier 1 supplier, it is more and more important than ever to be able to have a global reach. GKN has a global reach today. We're very strong in North America, both in the United States and Mexico. We have a very strong position in Europe, across Europe. We have a very small position in Asia. And as everybody, I think, is aware in the aircraft part of the business, Asia is where the future aircraft, to some degree over the next 10 years, the majority of new aircraft are going to be purchased. And it's absolutely imperative, we believe strategically, to have a good footprint in Asia as well. What Fokker brings is they also have some Mexico operations that can be combined with ours. They're strong in Europe. They're not as strong in the U.S. We believe that we can bring that, as Hans brought up before. We think we can bring the U.S. market space to the Fokker Technologies. And then when we look at Asia, we believe Fokker has done an excellent job of moving into Asia. China, Turkey, India. And as we look at that, we're saying we also believe that that is a great start for us and that we can there spring off of that and to build more of an Asian footprint and to truly have the entire spectrum be the most global aerostructures company in the world by far. The third component of our strategy is the technologies. We're very interested. GKN's a technology company. Fokker is a technology company. We believe this is very synergistic between the two of us. The high tech, the ability to be able to do research and development and to design and develop and take products to market that are differentiating from the rest of the products out there. That's what we're attempting to do. That's what we're doing on a daily basis. And it's what Fokker has also been doing. We think that this ability to be a high technology company fits right in with what we are. The fourth component that we look at, I guess I could talk about some of the key technologies, and that is if you look at composite thermoplastics, that's not a technology that GKN has today. We are thermoset composite company principally. So this rounds out the ability for GKN to do all of the composite structures on an aircraft. We think that also the glass reinforced aluminum laminates on the fuselage system is a unique technology that we think we can build off of as well. And the wiring, design, and manufacturing system I talked about, there's some technology and some proprietary technology that Fokker has we think differentiates in the business. And then also composite landing gear. Small landing gear business, however, high technology landing gear business, which is what attracts us. So we have long-standing relationship with the global OEMs, and I think on the next page, OEM is the original equipment manufacturer, the primes or the Airbus, Boeing, the actual aircraft manufacturers themselves. And we look at across there, we have a strong portfolio with them. And the fourth component that was really attractive to us that we think is very strategic is that the positioning of growth platforms that Fokker has captured. The F-35 and A350 specifically. Those are great growth platforms. We're also on those platforms, and we bring a lot of other growth platforms. And we believe that this springboard of growth takes us into the area of continuing to grow our business, going from acquisition straight up the ramp on organic growth as well. And so we see a lot of opportunity there as well. So when we look across those four different strategies and we bring them together to sort of sum it up, we look there across there and we say, who are we? We're a technology company. Fokker's a technology company. When you put those two companies together, you have a stronger company. When we look at our customer and product portfolio, GKN has a strong customer and product portfolio, as well as Fokker. Together, we're a stronger company than we were. When you look at the footprint, GKN has a strong global footprint, primarily in North America and Europe. Fokker has a very strong footprint in Europe and has started to enter into Asia. You put those together, put the two companies together, and we're a stronger company as we move forward. You take all of those components, and we look at that, and what does it add up to us? We're on a growth path that we think is very attractive, and we think that when we bring the two companies together, that our growth will accelerate between the two of us. And so we're very, very excited about the fact that we've been able to bring these two companies together.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. So there's now opportunity to ask questions. Yeah.
Well, I'm usually not a journalist who follows the business, so I might ask some questions which you might consider to be a bit simplistic. But so my name is Edwin van Schoot from the Telegraph.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I would like to know is what did you agree to do with the Fokker brand in terms of do you agree to keep it forever? Is it a 5-year term? Is it what's the time you apply on maintaining the Fokker brand? And in my perception, but I'm probably wrong here, is the Fokker brand especially strong for maintaining the former the maintenance of the former Fokker aircraft. Is the Fokker brand also very strong in the other branches of business Fokker's active? That's the question. Whichever the two gentlemen wants to answer.
You want me to take that?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take that one because I think it's important. So one of the things I maybe didn't touch on specifically that I'd like to, and that is that one of the other things that we get to is, yes, on the global footprint, it's important. China, India, Turkey, Mexico, all very important strategically to us. But also the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a footprint that GKN does not have. And we're extremely excited about the fact that we can come in here and bring in the Dutch national champion of aerostructures and bring it into our family. So that leads directly into the Fokker name. The Fokker name is a global brand. It's a strong, well-respected brand. And what we plan to do is maintain that brand. So we maintain the Fokker name. It will be very prominent. We intend to do that basically forever. We will, over time, also bring in what we are very proud of as far as the GKN brand, and we will combine the two in a form over time. But we will take our time to do that because it's very important for us. We think it's important for our customers. We think it's important for the people of the Fokker business, and we think it's very powerful, and we plan to maintain that brand. We believe that the Fokker brand is just as strong outside of the services business as it is in the services business. Because the services business and the Fokker aircraft is slowly, dropping off over time, but Fokker as a company is growing, and the Fokker brand is growing. So we're excited about keeping the Fokker brand.
Can you tell us anything about the M&A process? Was this an auction? Was this, how do you say it, just a bilateral agreement between the two of you with hardly any M&A banks expected?
Yeah. So the last one basically. So Kevin hinted on that already. So so I think from a normal business point of view, we were already kind of connected, and obviously, and that was also over time in the newspaper, Fokker was looking for the next big step. I think that was also clear. And then we had obviously discussion, what are we going to do with the whole group? Is it going to be the whole group, or is it be part of the group? And I think we always said it should be the whole group, because that's also important for the positioning in the Netherlands. That was also agreed with the supervisory board, basically. And then, for us, basically, this was the best option for at least from a Fokker perspective. So I think the end of last year, the official process started, and then normally you take your time, you look after the different elements of diligence processes, and today we announced. So no auction, the best fit in town, I would say.
All right, and what about the amount of, you used to be private equity owned until today. Private equity works with a lot of debt usually, so Fokker has a reasonable amount of debt. How are you going to treat that in the new structure? Are you going to do some refinancing and maybe lower the debt levels, Mr. Cummings?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. The Fokker debt will be assumed by, that exists today, will be assumed by GKN, and it will go into our central debt financing. So it no longer, it won't be, the company will not have its individual debt per se anymore. It goes to a central financial structure within all of GKN. And the way that we are financing this particular acquisition is both in cash, of which we have plenty of room, and we have also done an offering, a rights offering, where we raised 200 million pounds also of additional, where we released more equity into the marketplace, which has been taken up. So we took that in order to make sure that we felt that we retained a very healthy balance sheet, and it gives us the ability to do other strategic moves if we so choose.
What was the amount of debt that was on Fokker's balance sheet?
150 million normal debt and a revolver of 50 million.
And maybe my final question before I have to give way to my colleagues, I reckon. In my remembrance, there was also a legacy issue in Iran, something with U.S. authorities overruling something they previously agreed with Fokker. Did that play any part in negotiations, and can you give us a status update of that process?
Yeah, so we still have an outstanding issue, a compliance issue that's running, and during the whole diligence process, GKN had a look at that, and yeah, I think with our own assessment on how to deal with that, and I think it could be a question to Mr. Coving as well, but basically GKN took it as it is.
We're well aware of the sanctions case that is outstanding right now. We did thorough due diligence. The Fokker leadership team was very open and forthright with where the situation was. We also had listened to their counsel. We took our own counsel with a well-respected team in the United States. They took a position. They gave us information as to what they thought the potentials were, and ultimately we also spoke to the Department of Justice in the U.S. before we went forward with the transaction.
You take the risks as they are, which means there's not like some kind of earn-out clause, which might mean to getting either money back from Arle Capital or reducing the takeover fee.
Now, related to that sanction case, there is nothing withheld. We have we've done our due diligence, and we've priced in what we think was appropriate.
Thanks very much.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions? Yeah, thank you.
I have one more question concerning the brands. You were talking, you were talking that the brands, you combine the brands. Is it like Fokker and then your brand right next to it, or what do you mean by combine them?
Well, today, as we begin our journey together, it will just be Fokker. It will be Fokker, and then you will be able to find the GKN Aerospace. As we haven't defined exactly how we're going to do that, but we will bring the GKN Aerospace name also. But Fokker will stand alone, and then over time, as we become more assimilated and start to come together, we'd like to see the two names stand side by side, maybe 5+ years down the road. But we will maintain the Fokker name.
Like KLM Air France, for example.
It could be, yes. We haven't defined exactly what it looks like, but certainly there are a lot of different options like that.
Yep.
Will all of the Fokker employees keep their jobs?
Yeah.
Well, the answer is as we go into it, you have to understand why we're doing the acquisition. We're doing the acquisition because we're planned to grow. Okay, so this is about strategically, how do we grow together? This is not about how do we go in and shrink the business and try to do something for that purpose. Certainly, as we go forward, all the employees, we're picking up the entire business. We will go through, as we come together, we will find ways to, lower our overall cost per unit. As we look at that, we will do that in a lot of different ways. First of all, growth will take care of some of that as we maximize our assets in a better way. But we will pick up economies of scale between the two of us. And so we will also find ways to reduce costs through material. And to some degree, I'm sure we'll find some ways where there's crossover, where there's labor. We will look to be always the most, the best company we can be in the marketplace, which is what it will demand. But what we're coming into this with is how do we grow, not how do we shrink.
Yeah, I like to emphasize that as well. So Fokker was positioned for growth. Good new programs in place, F-35, A350. So on our own, we had an impressive growth rate already. And with the combination, you obviously will look after economies of scale. What kind of best practices does Fokker have? What has GKN? And we are going to combine forces there. And that will be over time. But also the message we gave to all the employees is quite positive about two growing businesses joining forces. Yeah, sorry.
You talked about talking to the Dutch government. Have you agreed anything in the way of guarantees with the Dutch government about production and R&D facilities and cooperation with the Dutch aerospace cluster?
Yeah, so basically it's the other way around. So I think GKN is very interested in the position we have in the Netherlands as Fokker. So well connected, also a large player in the F-35 program, good connected to university institutes, and I think that's one of the reasons that GKN is interested in or was interested in Fokker. And what we did together, basically, Kevin and myself, we had a chat with the government, obviously, and basically we presented ourselves as combination, and the government is fully supporting this deal because they think it's a good step for Fokker and also for the Netherlands.
So there was no need for any formal guarantees?
No, because the formal guarantees are at Fokker level. And GKN is taking over these commitments, and so it's a little bit the other way around. And I think for the government it was important that Kevin Cummings stated that we will fully support the F-35 program in the Netherlands. And by the way, also GKN is quite big on F-35 already. And so we know, and also positive remarks from Lockheed Martin about that. So I think they're all quite happy with this combination.
And there are also, you say, guarantees on the Fokker level?
Yeah, so basically, the IP, the international industrial participation on F-35 is not at Fokker level. That's a Dutch agreement. So independent of who owns Fokker, it's a Dutch arrangement. So even if GKN wants, GKN cannot step away from that because it's a Dutch arrangement.
But I think the assurances, it's more logical when you look at our strategy. We're about growth and we're about supporting that around technology that can supply that growth. And one of our strategies that we go about is a public-private partnerships in the countries by which that we operate. And certainly that's what Fokker has done here in the Netherlands, and we endorse that and would like to, if anything, strengthen it.
Yeah. But still, you can be interested in growth, and your strategy can be directed to growth, but at the same time you can identify cost synergies.
But we do.
What's the possibility of putting together parts of Fokker with
But I think that personally that's the name of the game in the global economy. So if you listen carefully to your customers, then it's all about let's say affordability. That's the name of the game in the aerospace industry. And affordability means lighter constructions. Weight is extremely important. And cost is extremely important. So that's in my opinion the driver behind everything you do, because in the end we need to be able to serve our customers. And if that means that because we have all low-cost facilities, so if it means that you need to move business from one place to another, or you're forced to do that, because that could also be the case. But it's not related to GKN in my opinion, because that's the combination is much more based on growth. No, does that answer your question? Okay, thank you.
I got a question. It's about the role that Fokker has in the after-sales segment.
Yeah.
Will this become more important? Because as far as I know, GKN is not really active there. Does it mean that GKN supports to grow the services segment of Fokker?
Yeah, is that a question to me or Mr. Croving or both? Or shall it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I look at, first of all, GKN's aftermarket business is about 20% of our portfolio. So it's probably larger than most people know about, because we do have such a large OE, or original equipment, position around the world. So the way we look at services is now when you go about the way that the Fokker aircraft services, we do MRO work on engines today. We do not typically do MRO work on the aircraft structures themselves. So that is a new entry for us. We look at that and we say, okay, that is, that's part of a technology and a market area by which comes with this deal. It hasn't been strategic to us, but we look at it and say we do have an MRO activity, so we're going to look across our spectrum and say, how do we now bring the best of GKN to bring this component to a place where it's in a growth mode for that particular business, because we do want to be the best at what we do worldwide. That's what we strive to be, and we will strive to take that business in that direction. So we will bring all of our manufacturing prowess and all of our MRO experience, and we will combine those businesses, and we will see what we can, how we can create value from that. And hopefully that will take that business on a journey that will, elevate them to where they believe that they can be, because they're at a very low margin today, and that does need to be improved. And if we can't do that, then we would look at other strategic options. But right now, we're starting off with the fact that we're going to see what we can do with the business to make it grow and become more valuable.
Is there any indication how much that profitability of the services segment will grow?
Well, we look right now as to where they're at, roughly in the area of 4 to 5%, as far as where where their margins are. GKN, where we've stated our margin range, is probably in the 11 to 13% range. That's what we strive for. Now, that doesn't mean every one of our businesses is there, but we get there as a total agglomeration. So they don't have to move that far, but we just believe that there's some opportunity possibly to move that margin up.
Okay. I think we are there then with outstanding questions. Probably last one.
Small one follow up that. Since Fokker is now part of a stock listed company, would you mind to tell me the 2014 EBITDA?
So that was 74 out of my head.
And one thing I heard on the radio on the way here was someone stating that this takeover should also be seen in the light of the purchasing power of your big customers, the Boeings and the Airbus and the likes. Is this merger or takeover, is this also an attempt to get more grip on the pricing and put some pressure on companies like Lockheed, Boeing.
I think in the end it's all about economies of scale. So economies of scale at the OEM itself, at Boeing and Airbus, because they are growing and growing. So
Becoming more powerful.
they are becoming more powerful. But what they expect is also a kind of top 10 supplier portfolio. Because they are asking us as suppliers to move around the world. They basically are asking us to invest in technologies. Sorry. And they're basically asking us also to move into the US, to go to Mexico. Boeing has all kind of offset obligations, for example, in India, $3.5 billion obligations in India. So basically they have asked us to, and especially Elmo is a front runner there, Fokker Elmo, to support them into India. The same is valid for China. So then it's important that you are powerful, and if you want to benefit from procurement power, leverage on spend, we have approximately 400 or 500 million spent. Together with GKN, we are above 2 billion spent. So that also makes sense in terms of how you be able to achieve your affordability targets. Because there's pressure in the global economy on price levels, and so we need to be able to follow our customers there. So I think it's all about economies of scale. So the answer is yes, basically. Yeah, that was a long answer to get to that. So.
Rumor has it, yes. They're probably asking the same question. But no, I joined GKN to run their North American operations. And when the CEO of GKN Aerospace determined that he chose to retire, they looked internally to the leadership team from within, and I was fortunate enough to be selected for the international role.
For the record, Kevin's opposite number running one of the other divisions is German-speaking Italian, so there are other non.
Yes, I would say that, you know, like I said earlier with GKN's headquarters may be in the UK, but the majority of GKN's employees are not. The majority is outside of the UK. Both there's a large contingent in America. I don't know, Chris, if it's the largest now.
US, Germany, Mexico, probably the top, and China, probably the top nationalities. Well ahead of the UK.
So I think it's just once again, I think it's a testament, and I think a very positive thing for Fokker. We are truly a global company, and there are global opportunities.
Why are you based in the UK?
Because our headquarters are in the UK. And so each of it was been determined that that's probably in order to be at our central PLC headquarters, the group headquarters. And so I was asked to move over and maintain my headquarters right there.
Okay. No more questions, and I'd like to thank you all for coming over and joining this meeting. Thank you very much. Ja, dat is goed.
Ja. Economies of scale in terms of number of employees and costs. And you say we are oriented at growth, so laying off people is not the first thing on your mind. But can you have